On the path to modernization, no one and no country should be left behind. This sentence in President Xi's keynote speech at the 2024 FOCAC Summit has aroused heated discussion among African guests. How did the African guests handle this sentence?
I like this point that nobody has to be left behind.
This was exactly what we expected to hear in China during this conference.
No country should be left behind because of the potential that each country can bring.
Which means, as a country, you should not be moving forward whilst you are leaving others behind. China is moving forward with Africa, with the rest of the world. China is taking them along with them. As a friend, if you are growing, you have to grow with your friend. It also helps you. As a country, China is growing, and China is ensuring that it is growing with Africa at the same par, which is very good.
This is also what we see Chinese companies are doing. Chinese companies become more supportive to modernization, industrialization, and localizing of service and products in Africa. This approach is what we see helping Africa to grow, economy to get more stable, and welfare of people to be granted.
Today we are in an era of global supply chain, and in this context we are looking at an emerging Africa with its resources, with its demographic growth, with its natural resources. I think that Africa has a high potential to be emerging and for the economic transition and ecological transition. So of course, no country should be left behind.
That simply means is that we are not focusing in one area or on one area. We are making sure that whatever project we undertake, everybody benefits, the entire community, the entire country, and all citizens should benefit in all projects that are undertaken by government and also by the support that we are getting from China.
Africa count very much to China to lift the whole continent, country by country. And by doing so, we will always win. The cooperation between China and Africa is a win-win situation.
When we talk about modernization, digitalization, I think China is an example. Now if you take the example of banks, the payment system that already exists in China can be exported to Africa. E-commerce, I think this is another example where banks can benefit.
In Africa, for example, sometimes for the past few years we've been left behind in terms of skills, in terms of development and all that. We cannot have a development agenda without putting Africa in the map. We cannot have a development agenda without including Zambia on the map, because we have the resources, we have everything that it takes to develop. However, maybe for the lack of technology, for the lack of other resources like finances, we might be left behind. If China has the skills, has the money, but they don't have the resources, some other resources that are needed, like for example lithium, nickel and all that, in developing the technology, why can't we collaborate with Zambia so that we put everything together and together we can rise? So this, I think, is the meaning of nobody should be left behind.